All right, this is about super resonance, which is a new term that is based on the acoustic black hole model that models the super radiance of Hawking radiation out of black holes. And it's explained by the analogy of a bathtub drain. So you have the radial velocity of the water going around the drain is faster than the water flowing into the drain. And if you have it faster than the speed of the medium, then you create a shock wave. So in the case of a super resonance, this causes a self-amplifying back reaction or back resonance from the future, because it's actually the super resonance is modeling the super radiance of Hawking radiation. So it's the equivalent of the future self-amplifying the past. And this is a physical example of the difference between the energy as momentum versus the actual negative energy. So they haven't found any white holes in compared to black holes, but the Hawking radiation is based on this inherent overlapping of the future and the past. And another physical model of this is the Casimir effect. And I was watching Professor John G. Williamson, his YouTube channel, on how he says that the Casimir effect is actually due to this this quantum overlapping of the quantum energy of the actual matter when it's close together, and that's what's creating the attraction. And this attraction is actually explained by noncommutativity. So just a shout out to Professor Peter K.F. What's his last name? It's some German last name. I can't remember how to pronounce it, but I'll put it in the video description. I'll put a link. But he has a brand new paper out in the Journal of High Energy Physics about the Casimir effect being explained by noncommutativity, and therefore the Casimir effect is not limited to the micro scale of quantum energy, since noncommutativity is not limited to the micro scale, and so this actually enables the creation of a macro scale wormhole. And another way of explaining this is that the Bekenstein bound as the entropy of black holes measured by the area of the event horizon has been found to be equivalent to the Heisenberg uncertainty principle of position and momentum. So you have this is the origin of the Hawking radiation, because of the uncertainty principle enables a non-commutative, non-local superresonance or superradiance between the energy or as momentum before it's a particle as with mass. So that's why it's mainly the photons. Well, the gravitational mass is due to the negative entropy. So it's what the teacher of Hawking, Roger Penrose, calls the gravitational potential from the mass originating from the quantum frequency. So due to this non-commutative time and frequency, we are able to create macro scale wormholes from the noncommutativity. And this is exactly how a spiritual master is able to walk through a wall, because based on Planck's constant, if you turn your body into light, because the Planck's constant is inherently discrete, then it's limited to the macro scale, because you have the uncertainty relation, so that the larger the wavelength, then the lower the frequency as lower energy. So you would inherently have to be broken up into discrete wavelengths. But in fact, the cycle of the time of the Planck's constant as inverse to the frequency is not inherently defined by a symmetric second unit of geometry, of a spatial symmetry. And so the photon inherently has a gravitational mass due to the de Broglie-Einstein principle, or the law of phase harmony, so that you have this non-commutative time reversed signal with a negative frequency in the imaginary matrices. And this is why you have a quantum two sphere due to the one half spin of matter, so that the electron is actually made up of the photon having this time reverse signal due to the gravitational mass of the photon. And this is explained by Martin van der Mark and Gerard de Hooft, who calls it the instanton. So the core of all matter is actually this eternal black hole as a wormhole, based on the non-commutative time and frequency of the future and the past overlapping. And so through meditation, you can actually create a macroscopic wormhole that would then have a Casimir effect. So it would attract energy, but then it would also have a super radiance or a super resonance, so that it would then emit naturally delocalized, non-local energy. And this is what the spiritual masters do. This is how they heal a ghost, because the ghost will have a low frequency blockage. And based on the de Broglie law of phase harmony, it's the higher frequency that has a higher energy, so that the frequency becomes a negative frequency and a time reversed signal based on relativity. So you have an internal time and then an external time through the wormhole, and it's that difference. You inherently cannot see the wormhole, but you have the external space-time as relativity, and then you have the internal space-time that's the reverse, that's non-commutative and non-local. That's why they can't see white holes, because they exist in the shifted space-time. It's inherently unobservable from a external measurement, but it can be accessed through meditation as SuperResonance, or what I was calling it super listening, but the actual scientific term is SuperResonance. And so the microtubules in the tubulin have been proven to have super radiance in them, as an example of Hawking radiation creating a quantum coherent wormhole with a negative refractive index. So you have this superluminal phonon non-local signal that is a demonstration of the de Broglie law of phase harmony. So the deeper you go into this through meditation, then eventually all the matter, it's not just turned into light, but it's turned into this macroscopic wormhole. And that's how a spiritual master can then create another physical body, or dematerialize their own body, and walk through a wall. This is what Master Wang Liping was witnessed to do, was to walk through a wall to demonstrate to David, what's his last name? He was infamous in the Western Taoist scene for taking people on these tourist trips to China, and everybody would get mad at him because they thought he was just in it for the money. I can't remember his name though. David somebody. Anyway, that was like 20 years ago. So, but he saw Master Wang Liping walk through the wall, and reported that. So this is how it works. It works through the non-commutative wormhole, macroscopic wormhole.